Hey everyone, welcome back to the One Piece versus 4K podcast, where we compare the One Piece 4Kids anime to the Funimation dub, sometimes sub. We're here today to discuss from my end episode 23, entitled "The Better Swordsman." But before we get into that, I guess let's talk about what's been going on. I know it's been like 4 or 5 months.
I'm Rom, and he's Ben.
Oh yeah,
It's cool.
I forgot about that too. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, so as far as what's happened since the last time we recorded an episode, we've officially reached 1,000 chapters in the manga. Like this was, I know, like in the last episode that we recorded, it was probably like somewhere close in the 990s or something, or maybe the 980s. But now we're officially in the thousands. I think more recently, as of recording this episode, I think it was chapter 1004. We were in chapter 1004 in the manga. And the anime is edging closer and closer to episode 1000 in the actual anime itself. So those are pretty big events. And like as far as like the anime is concerned, we finally reached the backstory of this arc, and right now we're currently in the backstory of the main kind of. He's the father of one of the main characters for this arc, but he's also like a key figure in like the entire story. And in the flashback, we're actually seeing the history of Kozoki Oden, who is he's basically like a figure from a long time ago, and we're now watching like his kind of growth from basically like a kid, not really a kid, but like basically what happened was that they basically read out what he did since he was born up till the age of 18, and in like pretty much a 5-minute a sequence where they said at age 2 he did this, age 14 he did this, age 16 he did something, and then we're finally at age 18 and we see, and that's where the story kind of picks up. In the flashback kind of picks up, we see like kind of like what he's done. And it's actually very cool how the anime is kind of tied to real historical Japan events, because like the arc that we're in is called the Wano arc, and the place that we're in is called Wano Kuni. And one thing I learned recently is that Japan was actually named Wano Kuni way long ago, and it was a shutout country. Like the country of Japan actually shut out from the rest of the world, and eventually like they kind of opened their borders. And the tie-in to Wano Kuni in the anime is that the country of Wano is shut out from the rest of the world. They're not associated with the world government. They're not associated with all the other islands in the world. They're just their own thing. They have basically their own samurais and ninjas and stuff. So that's all going on in that country. So it was like a nice tie-in to like Japan's history and stuff. So I thought that was really cool. And yeah, so that's where we're at in the anime. We're in the flashbacks, and in the manga, we're actually in the big battle sequence in the manga, and Luffy and like a few others, they're basically now fighting the main, I guess, two main antagonists. One of the antagonists was actually in the previous arc. That kind of, they didn't really fight in the previous arc, but she did follow them into this arc. And in the manga chapters, Luffy and those guys, they're now like they're now fighting them. So that's what's going on in the anime. Like the big battle of Wano arc has started, and then in the anime they're in the flashbacks. So this is a pretty good year for that. And so yeah, and due to the current situation in the world, like the manga is still kind of like in a weird sequence where they'll release 2-3 chapters, possibly 2 chapters in a row, and then go on a buy, and then release a chapter, go on a buy. So it's still kind of a weird schedule. Hopefully, as the vaccine kind of rolls out it starts to get better. But yeah. Um, but besides that, what about you, Ben? What have you been up to?
I just been enjoying my time off. I had this past Friday off, and then this today off, which is Monday, February 15th. If whenever you're listening to this, so I had a couple days off, and yeah, I just been honestly, I don't I'm trying to think what I've even been doing.
Have you guys been watching Attack on Titan?
No, I was actually thinking about asking you that. Did you catch up on that?
So I made a big mistake, right? So this was kind of a
You
funny
saw a
thing.
spoiler.
Well, I'll explain. So this was kind of a funny thing. So back in 2018, I was actually watching, like, I've watched Attack on Titan season one when it first came out and stuff, and then
Yeah.
I kind of like, I guess like it was just the first season was out, and then I think I watched a few episodes, and then I kind of like stopped watching it for whatever reason. And so back in 2018, I was watching it, and I watched up to a certain episode, and then it was one of those things where I was watching it late at night. So I was like, once I finished this episode, I stopped watching it, and I figured, all right, the next day I'll like continue watching it or something. And what I didn't realize until I started watching it was that I stopped literally as the show was going to go into this like insanely epic like like episodes.
Yeah.
So recently, since like this is the final season of Attack on Titan, um, I was like, all right, it's been a while since I watched it, and then I was rewatching it, and then I finally reached the point where I stopped like 3 years ago, and then I can continue to watch it, and I'm like, I just can't believe I stopped at the worst possible episode, because literally like right maybe like the next or the following episode after, it just goes insane. Like the series just becomes like a lot better, and like it's just like one of the all-time series, literally the following 3 episodes, and I just missed out on it. So yeah, I mean, but now I'm caught up with it, and I caught up with the anime up to the latest episode, and then I also started reading the manga, because the manga is supposed to end on April 9th. Although Attack on Titan, the manga is a little different. So the manga is like with One Piece, the chapters are usually released every week, besides like the usual buy, and it's usually like I think 20 pages at most. Attack on Titan is very different. They release once a month. I think their chapters are they're like, I think I saw certain chapters that were like 40 pages or something. It's like really artistic, and like it's like, I mean, so is One Piece, but like their chapters are actually like a lot longer than One Piece, which could be why like they release once a month. And so that's kind of the thing that sucks, is that when I finished, after I got caught up with the manga, it's like I have to wait a whole month for the next chapter to come out, So,
Hmm.
yeah, so, oh yeah, so one of the chapters, it's like 45 pages. Another chapter is also, yeah, it's like about like 45 pages or something. So, but it's like once a month. So there's only 2 more chapters left, but it's like the next chapter is coming out on like March 9th, and like the last chapter is coming out April 9th. So it's like I have to wait until then to find out the ending, and then it's just been like driving me crazy.
But
And I've been like,
is the ending of the show going to be done before the
no, no,
season?
no, no, no. I mean, based like
How many more episodes do you think are going to be left in the anime?
I did hear they are going to do a part 2 for Attack on
Uh,
Titan. So yeah. Also, like part
yeah.
2, as in like so season 1, there's like 20. I think like there's like 22 or 23 episodes or something like
Uh-huh.
that. And so, or maybe there's 24. And so part 1 of season 1 is the first 12 episodes, and part 2 of season 1 is the following 12 episodes. And they did the same thing with season 2. It was just like one 12-episode batch. So that was like a very short season. But season 3, they went back to the part 1, part 2 thing, where they released the first like 12 episodes or something, and then they released like another 12. And based on what I read in the manga, and like where the anime is, we just reached, I think, episode 10 or episode 10 of the anime, and like although they are very close to where the manga is, it's like there's so much close to where I'm in the manga, at least. Like actually no, there's still so much that they have to cover in like the manga that like there's no way they're going to finish it in 6 more episodes. Like there has to be like they have to make more episodes at least. I don't know, I can't really pinpoint how many episode count they would have to do, but they definitely have to do maybe like another.
So you think season 3 is going to be longer than a total of 24 episodes?
Season 4.
Oh wait, we're on season 4 now.
Yeah. I'm caught up with the anime.
I don't know, man, because I haven't been. I've only watched the first season of Attack on Titan, so
yeah.
At this point, I'm gonna have to just rewatch it all, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely need to get caught up on it.
Yeah,
I've been
yeah.
hearing a lot of people talk about it, and it just seems like one of those things like where the anime was just on hiatus for such a long time. It's like everyone stopped talking about it, and all of a sudden, like everyone's like talking about it.
Yeah, I think it has to probably do with like just the way the chapters are released. With One Piece, like they release a chapter every single week, so it's like it's easier to, I guess, make more episodes every single week. This isn't.
Well, no, I think there was just it was on hiatus for like a year or two at one point, right? Like the anime.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
That was the weird circumstance that happened. So
yeah. It's just because of the like how like the pace of like how they release the chapters. I think that's probably why they have to wait like a while. Like when they announced that like this was the final season, I was a bit shocked that they would only conclude in 4 seasons. And then when I saw like the number of chapters, like prior to this show, usually like what I know from like mangas, they release on like a weekly basis. And this was the first show that I saw where they released on a monthly basis. And so because of that, I think it's just because of how much content there is. They kind of like release it kind of like, I guess, like they need more time to kind of like get more content out there to make these episodes, even though each chapter is like gigantic.
Yeah. Did you ever I guess if we're just talking about shows,
Mm-hmm.
did you ever see I honestly don't know if I ever had this discussion with you. Have you seen any of The Mandalorian?
No, I haven't seen a single episode of The Mandalorian.
Oh my god, dude. I think you need to watch it. You need to I know how you are with you don't want too many streaming services, so you need to cancel one of them or something and just get Disney Plus for a short period of time.
How much is Disney Plus?
I don't know. I think it just went up. I don't know. Disney
I guess
Plus.
I'll cancel Amazon for like a while, and then I'll just use Disney Plus.
What the heck? Do you pay monthly for Amazon?
Yeah.
Oh, I just pay all at once for the year because I use Amazon Prime. It's $7 a month.
Maybe I should consider switching to that just because of like, it's like what, like $78 or something,
What?
or like $84 a year or something. Is that
For
right?
what, Prime?
Yeah.
No, dude. You're like that was like 5 years ago at this point where it was that much. It's like $130 for a year now.
Okay, so it's like roughly around like $10 a month or something like that. Like right now, I'm paying about like $13 a month.
Yeah, you would definitely save some money, but not that much. But yeah.
Okay, and then like Disney Plus, how much is that?
$7 a month.
Oh, okay. I guess I can like Yeah, I can like cancel Amazon and then I'll just use this. I mean, I don't really buy. I kind of cut down on how much I buy on Amazon.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, I guess I
Well,
will.
I think it's worth it for at least 2 months. The the first season of Mandalorian was good, but the second season was just freaking insane, dude. Like
Okay,
crazy. Um, and then
dude.
I haven't watched that WandaVision yet, but I've been hearing a lot of people say good things. I think I might just I don't think that's completed yet. I think they're doing like one episode a week or whatever.
Mhm.
Um, but I'll probably watch that when it's fully done.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like regarding Attack on Titan, like season 3 is like insane.
I
Like
need to get
it's
caught up on it.
really good. Like
Were you,
season 2 was
are you
all
watching
right.
it on Crunchyroll?
Funimation.
Oh, Funimation. Okay.
I mean, Funimation has both the dub and the subs, so it's like
Well, they don't have the. They don't. What is the dub already complete? They don't have the dub like the day after. They're behind, right?
no, actually no, the dub is like a few days, but like Funimation also releases the sub.
Wait. So are you telling me the dub for Attack on Titan like season 3 is already all complete?
Yeah, dude, yeah. Season 3 is completely dubbed. See, like so, season 1, season 2, season 3 is completely dubbed. I don't know how many episodes in season 4 are dubbed. But
Okay.
they're like only like maybe like a couple of episodes behind.
Wow, I didn't realize they were actually releasing them as they completed them with the dub.
Yeah, I mean, like they're still behind
Yeah.
the
Yeah, but
sub.
still, I didn't I thought they would be waiting until the entire, season was done or whatever.
No. That's just One
Oh, that's
Piece.
interesting. Okay. Well, then I'll definitely have to finish it. Not that I honestly, the first, like, with the Attack on Titan, the first season, I started watching it dubbed, but then it
Mhm.
got so good that I'm like, I'm not waiting for this shit, and I just finished watching it, subbed. So
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not opposed to the sub, but I definitely wouldn't mind. I didn't. Both of them are good, is what I'm saying. Um,
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. Like, yeah. So you have like three full, potentially deep into the fourth season of works of Attack on Titan dub that you can watch. And to be honest, like it's not like the dub is like crazy different. Like they do a really good job at trying to keep with the subs. So yeah, I
oh,
mean,
you
I
know what?
watched.
I
Mhm.
actually did watch an anime while this thing has been on hiatus.
Mm,
I watched it's it's an anime called that's pretty popular. Has actually nothing to do with the title, pretty much. It's called Bunny Girl Senpai.
mm,
It was really good. I like there was like 11 episodes or whatever. I don't
mhm,
remember how many episodes. It was pretty short. Um
mm.
oh, 13. There was 13 episodes and we like binged through them like really quick. There's a movie too that like is like a sequel that I need to watch still, but yeah, that's a really good series.
Yeah, I do think like I probably need to like shift to Disney Plus and watch some of those shows because like I think just watching so much like I've kind of like sort of fallen back into like watching a lot, not quite as much as I did when I first watched anime, but like still quite a bit. And like I think I need to start watching like freaking like live action kind of shows like Mandalorian and WandaVision and stuff just to I don't know kind of like get synced back.
Take a break. I know what you mean. I don't always like to watch I mean like I will like to dedicate like part of my time to watching anime and then part of my time to watching like live action stuff.
Yeah, for some reason, I don't know. It just like depresses me when I watch like so many animes. I'm like, I need to, and then I keep telling myself I need to like cut this cycle. And so, like, yeah, I think I do need to maybe watch Mandalorian. Because I've heard good things about it. I heard like Bill Burr is in it. So I just want to check it out.
Yeah, I wish season 2 was really good. I enjoyed season 1, and I was like, man, this is a great show. But after season 2, it was just insane.
Yeah, yeah. So I have to like kind
I'm
of like
I'm
get into
actually
that.
shocked that you haven't got spoiled by anything in season 2.
Of the Mandalorian.
Yeah,
It's-
because
dude,
I ended up getting spoiled. My
I
friend told me, he's like, "You need to finish watching this. You're taking too long. You're gonna get spoiled." And the second after he told me I was gonna get spoiled, I got spoiled.
like the only thing I get spoiled is like the meme of freaking what's his name in baby form. Oh man, it's like
Oh,
a
Baby Yoda.
yeah, Baby Yoda. Like that's the
Oh,
only
that's
thing
not
I
even
remember.
like a spoiler at this point, but yeah.
Yeah, so like that's like the only kind of like spoilerish thing that like I got was people were going crazy over Baby Yoda and like so I guess eventually Baby Yoda is going to be on the show. I don't know when, but eventually when I start watching it. So
Well, it's a main part of the show. Spoilers.
yeah, I
Um,
wouldn't doubt it because yeah, the clip I saw of Bill Burr was like I think he was like making a comment on Baby Yoda,
yeah. Well, they've.
but I don't even remember what was in that clip anyways. So
I feel bad that I keep calling it Baby Yoda because they actually, by the time like the third or fourth episode of season 2, they
Mhm.
finally reveal its name.
Oh, okay, oh, it's fine. It's not going to be like a huge thing.
No, it isn't.
Um, yeah. It's yeah, like, and I think like once I finally conclude Attack on Titan, like once I read like the final, um, like 2 chapters, like I can finally close that, and then like,
Yeah, and
um,
then stop watching One Piece, and then just kidding.
yeah, dude, like One Piece has kind of been the thing that's been kind of like getting, because like for some reason, as soon as I got caught up on Attack on Titan, like it just put me in like a depression that I'm just like, ah. I just need to know. I just need to know. And then, like, for some reason, I just got really depressed. Like, ever since I got caught up with it, I've just been in like a little depressive mood because of that. So I'm just like, oh, when these final 2 chapters come out, then maybe like, but like, I think the author creator of Attack on Titan said that like he's gonna betray the fans or something, or like I wouldn't be surprised. Like he said that like it's gonna have a depressive ending. Like, and I kind of see what he's talking about. Um, Honestly, like the thing with Attack on Titan is that like it's one of those shows where like there is no happy moment. It's like it's a depressive beginning. It's like a depressive middle, and then so with
Mhm.
that, so I'm not really too shocked about it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the last 2 chapters coming out. Um, so yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Like the Crunchyroll manga app that I used to catch up on the manga, like it started in chapter 115, and where the anime ended this past week, I'm like, oh wow, they're actually really close to chapter 115. And obviously, like they just released chapter 137, I think either last week or the week before. And so yeah, I think in 3 weeks the next chapter is going to come out, and then month later the final chapter. So looking forward to that. Which is chapter well, so 138 is the next chapter and 139 is the final chapter.
Awesome. They're gonna end on a 9.
Yeah, one of the fans who I mean, a lot of fans release like a lot of like theory posts on Reddit about like the what's going to happen at the end. And someone mentioned how like apparently 139 is some numerology for like the ending or some conclusion or something. And I guess like he wanted it to kind of like line up to end in that.
Got it.
Um, so I don't know, but like yeah, I don't know. When the ending comes, it'll come, and so yeah, I'm just looking forward to just kind of concluding that and then going back into the One Piece like dome. I don't know. It's just like ever since I got caught up with it, I think it's just because of how close I am to the freaking end of this that I've been like so much more focused on like freaking Attack on Titan than One Piece. So
Yeah. Well, I guess we
Uh,
should get into this episode. I wonder how long this opening part is.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
all right, let's start. So the episode opens up with Johnny and Yosaku telling the crew that they last saw Nami reading the list of most wanted pirates, and she was looking up the bounty for someone named Arlong. They had mentioned to her that his bounty was worth 20 million berries, to
Hmm.
which she all of a sudden asks Johnny and Yosaku to turn around for a minute so she can change. They
Hmm.
both get red in the face and say, "Don't mind us," and then start arguing with each other about who Nami likes more. She then gets behind them, as they're looking away and says, "Boys," and they open their eyes just in time for them to be kicked overboard.
So,
So, yeah.
so it is kind of similar. Does so in the regular animation to kind of indicate that she wants to change, she actually provocatively kind of like, I think, like tugs at her shirt to kind of say, hey, I need to change, like, that motion where like girls are about to take
Yeah.
clothes off or something. They actually do show that.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I thought that would be something that like they would like cut out or something, but wow, that's interesting. um And so, do the boys, when Yosako and Johnny talk about, or kind of arguing, do they ever say if they want to just take a peek at her changing clothes or something?
No, actually, they don't ever say that.
Okay, that's actually like during the conversation when they're looking away. That's something that they kind of talk about. How like, hey, maybe maybe we can just take a peek and see if she's done or something. And they're right as they're about to turn, she throws them off the ship.
Got it.
So yeah, I
Yeah,
was
I
wondering
mean,
about
the
that.
intent was still the same. They, their faces were red or whatever. They were looking, real pervy. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah. So then, as Nami's leaving, she says, "Tell the rest of the crew goodbye, as it's been fun, but this treasure is just too irresistible." They then tell her as she's sailing away to come back and give them their treasure, or she will force them to become really mean. Which I thought was just kind of lame how they said that. Will be really mean to you. Um,
mm.
was that pretty much what they said?
No, I mean, like they said on their end, they basically talked about how their only job was to protect the ship, and if she leaves, they're gonna fail at that. So, yeah, and then she basically talks about how like, if fate has it, they'll probably like see her pretty soon or something like that. So,
Okay. Well, I don't remember her saying that at all in this one, but yeah.
okay,
So at that same moment is the same time when Mihawk had showed up at the end of the last episode. You kind of like see someone showing up. So at that same moment, that's when Mihawk shows up. Luffy asks where Yusaku and Johnny's ship is and suggests that Zolo and Usopp uh, go go after Nami. Zolo says that it's a waste of time, and Luffy says, "But she is their navigator; that they need her." Yosaku and Johnny show up with the ship, and Luffy states he still has business to finish with the Barati, so he won't be coming along. And at that point, the Mihawk shows up, and Zolo reveals that Hawkeye Mihawk is the guy that he's been looking for. Says he's the most powerful swordsman in the world. And then Zeph and his crew begin talking about him and his feats, and talk about how many incredible swordsmen have fallen, at his feet. Zolo says he can now fill his promise since their paths finally crossed. Is this pretty much the same from your end?
yeah, pretty much, yep.
Okay, so then as he says that, Mihawk deflects a random pirate's bullet, as Zolo says that Mihawk's sword can deflect any bullet. Zolo tells Mihawk that his sword work is brilliant and asks him if he really carved up the scallion. To which Mihawk replies, "But of course." And I guess the scallion was that other ship from the previous episode.
Yeah,
Um,
the galleon, yeah.
yeah, Okay, well, maybe it is called the Galleon. Uh, I could have sworn he said the Scallion.
It's possible they might have said Scally
Yeah.
before, like kids, but yeah, it's a galleon ship. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and at this point, I want to point out that Mihawk has a French accent.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was actually something I was wondering what it was going to be. Oh, okay. Cool.
Is
Cool.
it the same in yours or no?
No, he doesn't have a French accent. I don't know how to describe his accent. It's kind of weird. He does have like he does have an accent. It's not French. Um, it's like I don't know, like I don't want to say a squire, but like the way I think swordsmen during the medieval era kind of talk.
Okay.
I guess something like that. It's not like British, but like like
Yeah, but this
I don't want to say like
it's not like
squire.
a super
Yeah.
strong accent. Like this is like a super like strong like stereotypical French accent.
Oh, okay.
Um yeah, so at that point Zolo says it was him that lured him to the sea so he could defeat him.
Mhm.
Mihawk tells him that he's a fool as they both prepare their swords. Sanji and all the other pirates look on with disbelief. Usopp expresses that there's no time for this as Nami is almost out of sight. Mihawk says, a duel with me, and that he wants to know if Zolo's challenge is based on confidence or ignorance. And Zolo says that it's a lifelong wish and also a promise to his friend. At that point, it cuts to Patty, and he says, "Shiver me timbers, Zolo versus Hawkeye. I've got 5 berries on the Frenchie," which I
Oh,
think is funny.
okay.
Um,
Yeah.
so is he saying? I guess he doesn't say that in yours.
No, he basically says something to the extent of the best swordsman in the world versus one of the best swordsmen in the East Blue, and this ought to be a pretty good fight because Zoro has this reputation of being
Hmm.
the best bounty hunter in the East Blue, and yeah, so he doesn't quite say that. Patty just says it's going to be a spectacle of a swords match, and yeah, yeah.
So this is where it comes to the moment that, like the mind blowing moment. I don't think I just picked up earlier that I didn't get this. All right, but I finally got the joke about Patty's name. At least why they did it. So I'll explain this. So in the Four Kids anime, Patty has an Irish accent.
Mm.
So it's a play on like St. Patrick's. Uh, that's why they gave him the Irish accent because his name's Patty.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's a play on his name, uh, which I thought was
So
really
here,
funny.
yeah. So here's the thing that I found kind of interesting. That you said that like Hawkeye Mihawk had like a French accent. I guess it's possible Oda revealed this like well after Four Kids started
Yeah.
dubbing it. I guess. So Sanji. So there was this one. Actually, it is very possible that this was like, well, I don't know. I have to know. I have to see when. No, this is definitely long after Four Kids gave. But so Oda, one of the fans asks Oda like, "Hey, what's the nationalities of all the Straw Hats?"
Hmm.
And I guess like they asked him, "Is Luffy Japanese or something?" And what Oda did was he actually like defined the different nationalities of all the characters. And Sanji, who's kind of like the central figure in this arc, his nationality, real life is French. He's like a French guy.
and Sanji has the New York accent in the Four Kids.
Yeah, yeah. It's like I guess like he had to because like it would have been like better for them to give Sanji the that because
Yeah.
um I don't really think he starts because like eventually Sanji during his fights he actually like he names his moves at like in like a French name or something like that. So yeah, especially like especially as he like gets stronger and develops more moves, like he definitely says it in like a French way.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So at that point, Yosaku says that Patty is crazy if he thinks he can beat Zolo. Um, Zolo then tells Mihawk, "Nice blade," because at this point, Mihawk pulls out something that's like a really tiny knife, like almost like a Swiss Army knife.
Hmm.
He says, "Are," and then Zolo says, "Are you cutting toenails with that blade?" Um, but then Mihawk says he actually would use a smaller knife, but he left it at home. All of a sudden, Zolo flies in as Mihawk dodges it with that miniature knife and says he's just a minnow in a vast ocean. Yosako and Johnny begin to root on Zolo. Zolo, in disbelief, says he's come too far to let this arrogant jerk beat him as he tries to hit him with a bunch of attacks only to be struck down. All of a sudden, he gets up and attempts to lay even more attacks on Mihawk as he continues to dodge. One of the pirates says that the master is fending off Zolo's three swords with the toothpick, which I thought was really funny. Um, but then all of a sudden, Zolo is striking at Mihawk as he begins to have a flashback about Kuina and his promise to her, as well as all of his training. So is this pretty much the same from your end?
There kind of the dialogue between Zoro and Mihawk is a little different. So Zoro kind of has this reputation of being like one of the best swordsmen in the East Blue and stuff. And Mihawk, when he kind of meets Zoro, he's like he instantly says, you know, you're not really a match for me. Like, and he then like when he takes out, he says that while you may be one of the strongest swordsmen in the East Blue is one of the weakest oceans of the four oceans. And
Mm-hmm.
and basically he talks about how like there's like stronger swordsmen and he's obviously the best swordsman in the world, and so it's like the level difference is like a huge, there's like a huge gap. And when he pulls out that Mihawk says something about how like that knife is like, or sorry, that blade is like the smallest blade that he has. If he had something smaller, he would have used it, but this is the smallest blade that he has. So that's why he's using that, because he's just so much superior to Zoro in terms of skill. And actually, one kind of insight that I will kind of talk about here, um, that I'll talk about here, that like 4Kids will never reach, is that um, basically when some of the more advanced combatants, they kind of gain this ability to kind of gauge just how like powerful a guy is, just based on like when they conversate with them or something. They can kind of sense like how strong or like impactful they are. And because of that, like they're like one instance they might be really not that strong, and then like another instance they may be really strong or something like that. And you know, obviously Mihawk being the greatest swordsman in the world, like as soon as he comes face to face and meets Zoro, I think he, and this is just pure speculation, but like it's like I think he senses like the strength between the two, and he instantly he knew like this guy isn't as like strong as he is and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's not necessarily about like their will or their heart or ambition or anything. It's just like just power levels. Like he just knows this guy isn't anywhere close to where he is. So that was just a little tidbit. But yeah, he basically does an onigiri, and Mihawk stops it with his tiny blade, and then pretty much every single attack he does, Zoro was able to do that. But in the flash, so one thing I wanted to ask in the flashback, Kuina, she talks about how lucky Zoro is to be a boy, and about how like he's eventually going to get stronger than her or something. She actually grabs her boob as she's kind of explaining how she's a girl. Does that happen in the
No,
Oh,
and
she.
it was just like it was just it was the same scene in mind that they had shown earlier, or I'm pretty sure,
Mm.
like in
Yeah,
that
it's like
other
a
episode.
yeah, it's like a similar kind of scene where like yeah, she basically like holds her boob and like Zoro gets all red faced.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
Oh, okay, but yeah, I figured that would be something that they would probably censor. But yeah, all right. So yeah, go
And
ahead.
then It didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um. So, yeah, with that in his mind, thinking back to Kuina, he realizes that he must defeat Mihawk and tries to strike him once more before tripping. Mihawk then asks what drives Zolo and why does he work so hard to fail. Yosaku and Johnny decide to jump in as Luffy holds them back. Zolo says, "Weak? Well, what did you plan to do about it?" As all of a sudden the screen goes bright white and Zolo says, this is what I don't get. I couldn't understand what the heck Zolo was saying. He says like tiger trap or something.
Oh, yeah, yeah. He does like a tiger trap move or something like that.
Okay, I didn't understand if he was actually saying the word tiger trap or what. Okay.
Yeah, he does.
Um okay. So then Mihawk says that he's giving Zolo one last chance to back out, as Zolo says he can't retreat because everything he's become today will shatter and vanish. Mihawk then says he'd be a loser, and in his head, he admires his dedication. Mihawk asks what his name is as Zolo puts in position his swords and exclaims he's Verona Zolo. Mihawk then says he won't forget it as he doesn't see this kind of courage every day, and he pulls out his huge black sword. So is this pretty much the same thing that's happening?
Yeah, basically, like when Mihawk kind of says, Zoro, why won't he, like, take defeat and all of that? Zoro said he'd much rather die than take defeat or something like that. And so yeah, Mihawk definitely kind of like admires him because of that, and admires his like courage and stuff. And yeah, then he pulls out the knife, and I'll kind of like say like a little tidbit about the knife that you four kids probably won't ever get to. But yeah, go ahead.
Well, it's like a huge black sword.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess like I'll kind of explain the black swords and kind of sword leveling in this anime. And this was actually something that's kind of more recent. This was something that like in the anime they actually recently found out about, where swords can actually gain ranks and stuff. Um, and to actually get to the black sword, so the sword that Mihawk has, even though it's like this huge black sword, if I'm right about this, like so that sword wasn't always like a huge black sword. He leveled it up to a black sword, and so yeah, there's like this whole thing about sword leveling where a person like a samurai or a swordsman, he can like through his battles and stuff, he can actually like rank up his sword to the next level, next level and stuff. So
So, so does that mean he was trying to rank up his pocket knife?
yeah, sure, why not? No, the pocket knife is just a fun little trinket. But yeah, the sword, the thing with the black sword is that's like the ultimate, like, his sword is basically the best sword in the world.
Okay, this is really sounding too much like video games right now. But okay. All right. So the other pirates then exclaimed that that was the sword that destroyed their ship. Zolo prepares his ultimate three swords attack as he realizes Mihawk uh, hits them and two of them fall apart. Zolo then exclaims that it's over and he never thought he'd lose as he explains that Mihawk is still the best swordsman. Zolo covers his remaining swords up or his remaining sword up as he tells Mihawk it's over and just stands there and waits for Mihawk to strike him down. Mihawk then strikes him across the chest as Luffy screams out Zolo's name in fear. Sanji then says, "Why'd he do that?" As we see a flashback of Zolo saying becoming the best swordsman is something he's willing to risk his life for. Sanji then says that he's never had a chance against Mihawk, and he'd never chase his dreams if it meant risking his life. He says Zolo needs to abandon his stupid dreams. At that point, Don Krieg's pirates say they just witnessed the power of the Grand Line as Luffy flies in for an attack. Is this pretty much the same?
Kind of basically, yeah. Like, one thing I wanted to know was how much blood there was, because
No blood. He
so
just like
like,
strikes him, and he like flies back into like the water.
okay, because like, so in that first sequence where he like does the I forget if it's the tiger trap or a lion trap.
Yeah.
move, and Mihawk stabs him in the chest. You see like a little blood spurting out and into like the floor and something. And then when basically right before like Zoro gets slashed by Mihawk, like Zoro gets up and he faces Mihawk, and Mihawk's like, "Why are you doing this?" And then he says something to the extent of, "A slash to the back of the blade is like a swordsman disgrace," or something like that. The exact quote, I'm actually getting this wrong, but and then Mihawk says he likes it, and then like I guess he really admires him for that. And then he takes out his sword and slashes him, and you see like all this blood coming out, and that's when Luffy is like, he just shouts out Zoro and stuff. So yeah.
Got it. Yeah. So then, just in time. So Luffy flies in for an attack, and then just in the nick of time, Mihawk dodges the attack, and Luffy goes flying into part of the ship. Mihawk then says, "Don't worry, I left him alive for you," referring to Zolo, as we see Yusaku and Johnny picking him out of the water and putting him aboard the ship with the help of Usopp. Mihawk then says there is still too much for them to learn, as he said his name. He reveals his full name, which is Dracul Mihawk. Uh, he then says no matter how long his journey takes, if he keeps striving, then one day they will duel again. Zeph then says how strange he must have a plan for Zolo, as Mihawk asks what Luffy's plan is. Luffy then says his plan is to find the One Piece, as Mihawk says that's even dumber than wanting to defeat me. To which Luffy responds with, him sticking out his tongue.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess with the regular dub, um, and I'll kind of explain about Mihawk kind of dodging Luffy's attack. I mean, this one, like, it's like just straight up projection, I guess. Like they do that, but and four kids will never reach that. But in the One Piece lore, like, there's actually at a certain point, you'll find out that like there's actually like people like in the One Piece world, they actually have this ability to actually predict what attack is going to happen, and they're actually able to like see like, oh, okay, so this guy is about to hit me on my right or something, or he's about to use his right foot to kick me on the head and something like that. And they don't really like discuss this there, but it's called like hockey in the in like the anime and manga. They refer to it as hockey. So there's like three different kinds of hockey. There is observation hockey, there is armament hockey, and then there is the conqueror's hockey. And seeing how like a person attacks is observation hockey. And I don't know if because of like Luffy's powers, like it's more projection right now. So I think Mihawk was just able to dodge it because of projection. But it's also possible he uses like, I mean, he absolutely has observation hockey, and that is partly what like allowed him to use his sword to deflect those bullets, because he saw where it was coming. Like when you see him take out the blade, you saw him like pull it out and point it to directly where the gun is, and like how he tips it, because he knew exactly what was going to happen. And there's this form of advanced observation hockey where where the character actually gets to peek a little into the future of what may happen. And yeah, and this is like stuff that you find out way further into the future, that like it's way past four kids.
Got it.
So I thought I would just like kind of give a little
Yeah,
tidbit.
that's
how,
really interesting, actually.
Yeah.
How it ties back around.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure like Mihawk kind of uses observation hockey a little bit right here, especially also like when he fights Zoro and stuff. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so then Zolo tells Luffy he's sorry that he's failed him and knows that Luffy expects him to be the very best. Luffy is seen in complete shock as Zolo says that he'll never lose again between now and the day that he defeats Mihawk. Luffy agrees that it's a good idea as Mihawk begins to walk off. Don Krieg then asks Mihawk, isn't he looking for Don Krieg, Don Krieg, the king of East Blue? Mihawk says that it was his plan, but he's had his fun and he will go home to take a nice nap. His crew begs him to let him go as Krieg demands for a chance and fires all of his guns at him, to which Mihawk uses as an opportunity to escape. Um, then Luffy says that Usopp better go and get Nami, and he agrees as long as Luffy works on getting Sanji to become their cook. Don Krieg says good luck as he's not going to get away without a fight as the episode ends.
Yeah, so really quick thing. Earlier when you said that, when Mihawk asks Luffy what his plan was and how Luffy said he wants to be king and how Mihawk says that's dumb, that's actually the dialogue is different. So basically, yeah, he knows what Zoro's goal is, and he asked Luffy what his goal is, and he's like to be in the sub. Luffy says to be the pirate king, but in the dub, he just says to be king. And Mihawk basically says, well, that's like a tougher goal than to defeat me. So that's like a much tougher goal than to defeat me or something like that. And so basically Zoro, he's like all bloodied up and he's like unconscious. Then he gets on the boat and he basically says, hey, Luffy, I'm gonna get better, and I'm not gonna ever lose again until I come and face Mihawk and beat him. And is that all right? And then he says, "Is that all right, Pirate King?" or something like that. And basically, then Mihawk is like, "Well, I'm like, he's like, I'm good for the rest of the today because he was content with what happened because um, he basically attacks the Don Krieg pirates because he was bored." And he basically says that the only reason he was like going after them was because just to pass time and because he was bored and stuff.
Yeah.
And I guess like his interaction with Zoro kind of like filled his kind of like just
His
filled his
boredom.
void. Yeah, his boredom,
Yeah.
and he's like now he's gonna go back home and like relax at his home or something like that. And yeah, same thing. Don Krieg shoots like everything, and then he's able to escape. And then and then as the episode kind of ends, we kind of hear Luffy asking Zeph, "Hey, if I beat him, uh, can I stop doing chores?" And Zeph is like, "Yeah, sure, go ahead." And that's where the episode ends.
I didn't see that happen on mine. That's really strange. Um,
Yeah, it was one of those things where like he grabs onto the ledge. His mouth isn't moving, but it's like they still say
got it.
the line. But it's like as the episode ends, you see Zeph say like, "Yeah." So, yep.
Got it. Okay. Well, I guess that's it for this episode. I guess one last thing. What episode was it for you? It was episode 23 for the Four Kids.
Yeah, I think for the dub it was for the regular anime it was episode 24, and
Yeah,
the episode name was Hawkeye Mihawk, the greatest swordsman. Zoro falls at sea.
got it. Yeah, so mine, I brought it up earlier, but mine was just short and simple. It was called The Better Swordsman.
Yeah, I think one thing I might try to do going forward is I'll try to like explain certain things that I know like the Four Kids will never get to it, and it's not going to ever interfere with the storytelling in the Four Kids
Hmm.
because it's so far ahead that I figured like, all right, let me just tell you guys like certain things that might be attached to it or something like that. But yeah,
Oh, yeah, I think that's really interesting too, because even for people that are listening to this podcast that are just starting off with One Piece, which to me I feel like would be the ideal audience for our podcast, it would be interesting to know these things. So when they do come up, you can reflect back on it. And they're not really like spoiler things
yeah, no, they're
per
not.
se. It's just good to know. So yeah,
Yeah,
I think that's a good thing to include.
and to be honest, like the thing is, like with what I'm kind of explaining, like especially what I just explained with the different hockeys, you kind of see it in some of the other episodes, but then like when they actually explain it, he explains it in like a 5 minute time frame. So
Yeah,
it's like they just like back to back to back. They're like, okay, this is observation, this is armament, this is like conquerors and stuff. So yeah.
cool. Well, we'll be back next week, everyone, with uh, the next episode. Thanks for listening, and we will hear from you later.
All right, cool.